to me, coming to these events to talk about employee-supported policing is obviously great PR, because I'm able to take it back and showcase it to people in the organisation. We constantly have to remind them about the importance of it and what it gives back to individuals, what it gives to the business as well. So thanks for the opportunity for doing this. It's a rainy day in Cardiff. I'm the head of security for OpenReach, and the reason why it doesn't say BT in big bold letters is that OpenReach is a part of BT. I think it's about between 34,000 people in its organisation, of which 26,000 are engineers. So we're all over the country. But our job is to provide the main infrastructure network to the whole of the UK. But obviously, it's not just on behalf of BT; it's other communication providers as well. So we sit in the middle of the egg timer, where we have to be equivalent not just to BT but to other businesses as well who are competitors of BT. And the reason why I've chosen this, why I'm driving it as OpenReach, is that the workforce is huge. Over the last few years, we've recruited quite a number of people from the forces as well, make great engineers. So having people as eyes and ears on the ground, who understand security in many different ways, shape or form, makes it a great recruiting opportunity for us. And we've tried to exploit that as much as possible. What we've tried to do is to get people as engaged as we can. And ultimately, for me as head of security, I've only got a team of about 27 people who cover the country, but with a workforce of 33,000, a £6 billion business, £11 billion worth of assets, I can't do it all. So actively getting people engaged, whether it's as specials or other work on my behalf, is really useful. So it's about spreading the load and spreading the responsibility. And if it gives back to the community as well, great, because we are a community business. So we have done quite a bit over the last, I think we started this in 2012, but we've had a strong relationship with GMP since 2014, and it started to take off in 2014, in fact. But as you can see from this, what we've tried to do is to develop a national campaign, because you cannot do this just by communications. You can't just put one piece out. It needs to be planned. What are you going to do for the next few years? You need to put some targets behind it. How many people are you going to try and get? The difficulty for us is that not everybody registers on our internal volunteering site that they're police specials, which is a little bit of an issue. So when we try to do our recruiting, we look at the number of people that have shown interest, because not everybody gets through the process. But what we try and do is to get people engaged, to find out who's doing it, to give them a sense of community, to get them on board and promote them as much as we can, and also support them as well, because we give 10 days a year, but not all the managers in the organisation of those people who want to be specials want to give them the time off, because there's still a job to be done. So luckily, we have a big stick in terms of our CEO that I can always go to, or I go in as a head of security, because it's great for people to be a little bit fearful of you, to go in to drum up business. So 192 expression of interest, so we've set ourselves a target of 250 for the year, and I think that we're getting there. A lot of what we do is supporting collateral, because it's all about, you saw on the previous slide, sort of if the hat fits. Because all an engineer knows is that when they go out, they've got to wear certain hats, certain gear. It's all about health and safety. And we've tried to sort of build that synergy between what they do in their jobs and the police force. So hence the idea of the two helmets side by side. We're trying to create a synergy between what they do and what they're going to do in terms of volunteering. So 2004 was a great year, and that's because we had a new CEO who's now left. He only lasted 2 years, unfortunately. We've got another new one now, so I've got to convince him of the merits. But he'd actually worked in the banking sector previously, and in the early 2000s he got involved with the Met Police in terms of building up their special scheme. So he was really keen. So he introduced us to the Met Police at a very high level, which took off there. So we started off Bedford and Cambridge, then we went Met Police, then we went Midlands, then we went GMP. But the Met Police was the one that really, really got him involved. But although I have to say our strongest relationship is with GMP, because it's regular and continuous. So just a little video from him. It doesn't play. How do we play? One of the things that I wanted to do, so that because it's all about communicating, getting the message out there, one of the things that we did was to get the CEO to give a little 2-minute message about Yes, it's been done. A little two-minute message about why it's important to him. It's getting him on board gets the rest of the organisation on board as well.
Hello, my name's Joe Garner and I'm CEO of OpenReach. I believe passionately that all businesses have a responsibility to the communities which they exist to serve. And volunteering is a great way to fulfil that responsibility. Volunteering to be a special constable is a brilliant way to do it, because special constables are police officers in all respects, except for the fact that they do it on a part-time voluntary basis. I've worked with special constables now over a period of more than 10 years, and without exception I've seen it bring great benefits not just to the individual, but to us as the employer and to the communities where they're out and about. It's a real win-win-win, and I would wholeheartedly encourage our people to volunteer to become special constables. Becoming a special constable is a worthwhile and rewarding experience. And in my experience, special constables aren't just special constables, they're special people.
And for us, that was really useful. That term, that soundbite, I've used it over and over and over again. It never gets lost. Special constables are special people, and we try and showcase that to people. So we started off with a major campaign, and it really around using all the tools that we had at our disposal, internal publications, internal websites, internal chat sites as well. There's one that we have called Wired in OpenReach that we use a lot, so you can promote stuff to individuals, you can add their names on, very much like Facebook, but it gets people engaged. And you have to crowdfund it, you have to crowdsource it a little bit. So there are a number of people that work in my team and say, right, go on, start promoting. The more people you have on it, the more names they add, the more names become aware of it, and then as a consequence it becomes more viral. And that's how we're spreading the messages out now, very much using from what we're seeing in the public domain at this particular point. It's also about, sort of using some of the engineering for us. So huge organisations, I mean, some of the big battalions have 18,000 people under an MD. So just going to their MD days, sort of where people turn up over the space of a week, we can go there, we can talk about it, we can showcase security. But it's also about going to the specialist engineering forums and using the engineering media that they use, and there's something they call engineering news. So it's all about promoting it. There is no single channel. It's all multi-channeled, and you've got to use it and exploit it as much as you can. But what we started to do recently was to have what we call masterclasses. So we started out in 2014 with one of the chief inspectors from the Met. He came on and it's basically a conference call where you get everybody on, you have a number of people. I think we had 90 odd people turn up. And he was there to talk about the specials, the role, and then we took questions. And it's all about getting people engaged. It's amazing how people don't understand it. You can put all the literature you can out and people still don't get it. I find that with normal security stuff as well. You tell them stuff and 6 months later they're asking the same questions about the stuff you've sent out 6 months ago. So it isn't just a one-off. You constantly got to tell people what's going on, and you've got to use all the medium that are available. So our overriding message really is all about, and I think Tina's touched on this already. It's about the personal learning and development opportunities for the individual. We give 10 days paid leave a year. That sometimes becomes a bit strained in the big operational units, especially when the work stack is absolutely huge. But at the end of the day, it's important, and it's great to have the CEO backing, because if anybody has a problem, Bernie will fix it for them. I just go in and speak to the highest level, and it gets sorted. So far it's been okay. But BT has a big volunteering agenda. And we try and say to people, look, it's really important. If you care about your community, if you care about volunteering, this is an opportunity to do it. And obviously it counts against the volunteering points, because we're now all getting targets for how much volunteering that we do. And BT, I think, gives 3 days a year that people can volunteer, but then each of the lines of business gets marked as to how many days volunteering are done. So this is a great opportunity for killing two birds with one stone as well. But we recognise as well that people are quite passionate about what goes on in their community. And by getting people on side, by giving them the time off, by supporting them, by profiling some of what they do. So Phil's not going to get away today without Mike in my team doing a little profile about Phil today, because what it does, it will generate interest in the rest of the company. People that know Phil might sign up. People who don't know Phil will find out something about somebody they don't know about. So it's all about constantly promoting it. And the benefits to the individual, I think Tina's spoken about that already. We have seen people come through that have, it's free training for us, you know, to be blunt. It's free, you know, we're going to give 10 days anyway. It's free training, conflict management, a whole host of stuff, and people come back much more confident and being able to be better leaders in the business at all levels, not just the team member, but also at manager level as well. For us as a company, you know, we reap the benefit where people come back to the organisation, and for me as security, I get somebody who's security conscious, far more security conscious in the business than there was before, and that sets the tone in the organisation as well, and it helps to change the culture of the organisation too. And for the community, I think that's been spoken about as well. It works well for us. You know, we are a community business, you know, sort of we're rolling out super fast broadband, you know, and some people might like us and some people don't, but at the end of the day, we are a community business that go into people's homes. People know about us, we're providing a service to the whole of the UK, so why can't we do specials as well and translate that as just something else that we do for the community as well?